there were 633 cases of community transmission.
The largest daily total since the pandemic began.
Out of the 633 cases, 550 are still from southwestern and western Sydney.
Up to 539 of those cases were in the community while infectious.
Every person who has the virus is spreading it to at least more than one person.
Sadly, 3 more people have died, bringing the death toll from this outbreak to 60.
We will see more admissions and more deaths if these numbers continue to increase.
A state on knife edge.
Are you now considering any further restrictions?
It's now time for you to stop promising that some restrictions will be...
How many cases a day is it going to take?
We know that our lockdown is extremely harsh and extremely strict.
Why is there a curfew in Melbourne? They've got 20 cases a day, there's 633 here.
Day 2 of harsher restrictions in Victoria, the state recording 24 new cases, 20 of them linked and 16 in isolation during the infectious period. But the city remains on high alert.
If we don't take all the necessary measures to drive these unlinked mystery cases down in the not too distant future, we would be in Sydney's position.
And the New South Wales outbreak continues to spread, with the ACT also recording a spike in cases.
Fortunately, all 22 of the new cases can be linked to existing cases.
The crisis has now crossed the ditch. New Zealand confirming the case that sparked its nationwide lockdown came from New South Wales.
And now the job we have is to work through how and when it got here.
There's only one way to stop the Delta strain.
What is your message to people who question the need for an alert level 4 lockdown?
Australia.
Despite that, the PM remains optimistic.
We're going to get on top of it. We're never going to give up in our battle against COVID in this country. We are going down that tunnel, and every vaccination shines light for Australians to see.
But is there enough light to push New South Wales and the country out of this COVID crisis?
We're joined by ABC's Coronacast host, Dr. Norman Swan now. Norman, such a jump today. When and what do you think the peak is going to be?
I don't know of any epidemiologist who's game to predict that. The predictions are that it will be 1,000 a day by the end of August. I mean, why we've got here is that politicians obviously have not appreciated what exponential growth is. So exponential growth is what we're seeing, and we've seen since the beginning. So that it's like compound interest. So at the beginning, let's say it's 1.1 is your growth rate, so 10% each day. So you start off with 10 cases, you add on a case, well, not each day, but each cycle of the virus. You add on a case, so that's 11. That's your base for the next time. So that looks like slow growth. But that 10%, when you're at 400 cases a day, becomes 40 cases. And that's when the curve just starts going up and starts going up dramatically. That's why you go in hard and you go in early to stop that exponential growth before it becomes large numbers, because the growth is slow when it's small numbers and really fast at big numbers. And those numbers are getting bigger every single day with no signs of turning around.
No, and the plan seems to be to vaccinate their way out of this outbreak. Is there anything more New South Wales can do?
Well, they can have more consistent messages. They probably could go to a more severe lockdown in Victoria. They could probably, from what I hear on the ground, they could be doing more in communities. They could probably be doing more in terms of giving more financial security to people so that they're more likely to come forward for testing. But remember that whilst the focus is on southwest Sydney, it is spreading in other suburbs and it's spreading at the same rate. So it might be low numbers now, but they could be high numbers tomorrow. Vaccination will reduce the hospitalizations and serious illness, but it may not affect the numbers with this Delta variant.
If that's the case, are we basically going to be isolated in New South Wales from the rest of the country?
We are, possibly till Christmas, according to some modellers. So what could happen in New South Wales and what should happen in New South Wales, we get to very high levels of vaccination. You may see relatively low numbers of hospitalizations, deaths and ICU admissions for the number of cases. But just imagine you're Mark McGowan in Western Australia. Are you going to open up with a large number of cases, even though you too might be at high levels of vaccination, knowing that you're going to introduce COVID-19 into your state? The answer is you should open up, but it's going to be an act of political bravery to do that.
Well, is the way we're handling it in New South Wales really going to make it harder for the rest of the country, not just us?
Yeah, I think New South Wales, one interpretation of New South Wales is stuff it up for the nation. It's very hard to see your way through the 4 stages that the Prime Minister has laid out. because the numbers are not going to turn around, and New South Wales is going to be locked away from the rest of the nation. So you won't have a national strategy without a third of the population of Australia.
Such a tough day, Norman. Always great to chat. Thanks for your time.
Sorry, it couldn't be better news.
With so much content online, it's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. And let's face it, who has the time? The Project YouTube has you covered with the stories that matter. Hit subscribe for a daily list of the news that you need to know.